the regular meeting of the Harlingen CISD Board of Trustees to order. This meeting has been posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. We do have a quorum, and at this time, I'll ask you to please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Mr. Strubhart, would you please guide us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Leading tonight's pledge is Dr. Rodriguez Elementary 4th grader Jaime Davalos and the Harlingen High School Army Junior ROTC. Jaime is a gifted and talented student and is part of the Constructive Minds Robotics team. Jaime and his team competed in Weslaco on January 11th against 26 teams from all over the valley. The team won first place for innovative design solution and secured one of 6 advancement slots to the regional championship on March 7th. Jaime's favorite subjects are reading and math. He likes to read adventurous books mainly about mythology, and he has fun solving problems with division. Jaime also has a passion for reptiles, specifically the crested gecko. When Jaime grows up, he wants to attend Texas A&M University and pursue a bachelor's degree in animal science with a concentration on breeding reptiles. He is joined tonight by his parents, Mr. and Ms. Davalos. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Jaime Davalos.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors from Hargeon High School.
Forward! Forward! March time! March! Color guard! Up! Left! Face! Present! Colors!
One more time, folks. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry! Colors! Right! Face! Forward! March!
Thank you. You may be seated.
March! March! March!
Thank you.
Color guard! Up! All first! Out!
Thank you, Jaime, and I appreciate the color guard for being here. At this time, we'll jump into the awards and recognitions part of our meeting. And if I ask Mr. Rios, already here, Ronnie, please guide us on the recognition of all state musicians.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, Board of Trustees, senior team, ladies and gentlemen. Texas All-State is the highest possible honor a Texas high school music student can receive. Students are selected through a rigorous process that begins with over 70,000 students from all around Texas vying for the honor to perform in one of the 15 all-state ensembles. Individual musicians perform selected music for a panel of judges who rank each instrument or voice part. The highest-ranking students at these TMEA competitions are selected as TMEA all-state musicians. These all-state students participate in 3 days of rehearsals directed by nationally recognized conductors during the annual TMEA Clinic Convention in San Antonio. Their performances before thousands of attendees bring this extraordinary event to a close. We are proud that Harlingen CISD has 6 students earning all-state honors. Dr. Perez, Dr. Cavazos, would you please join us up front for this very special presentation? Students, as your name is called, please join us up front. Okay. Starting with all-state choir members from Harlingen South, Senior Starla Mendoza. Parents, if you'd like to take photos, you're more than welcome to come up and take a photo. Senior Seth Keel. Senior Luis Muñoz. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Harlingen South High School choir staff. Would you please stand and be recognized? Mr. Willie Morales and staff. And of course, the parents of these all-state students up on stage at this time, would you please stand and be recognized? Grandparents as well. Harlingen High School Choir All-State winners, senior, second year in a row, Sofia Lopez. Sophomore, second year in a row, so she made it as a freshman, which is very hard to do. Cadence Carpio. And I'd like to recognize the Harlingen High School choir staff. Would you please stand and be recognized? Ginger Wheelock and staff. And of course, parents and relatives of these students from Harlingen High School. And last but not least, Harlingen High School Band All-State Jazz winner, senior Jacob Moreno. And I'd like to recognize the Harlingen High School Band staff, Maria Coronado, director, and staff. Would you please stand and be recognized? And parents, grandparents of Jacob Moreno, would you stand? And congratulations. Did we want to take a photo, Mr. Strupar? That's it. Yes. And, yep.
Congratulations, students. We appreciate you being here, and the parents, and all of the instructors, the teachers. Thank you so much. Really, really proud of your accomplishments, and you reflect great credit not only on your families, but this school district and this whole region, and now the entire state. So thank you for.
That's right.
Well done. At this time, we'll move on to our next item, and I'll ask our athletic director, Robert Davies, to present the recognition of Texas All-State athletes. Mr. Davies.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. We're excited to honor members of the Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-State Football Team. To be nominated for Academic All-State, a student must be an athlete, student trainer, or manager in good standing with the team, be of good moral character, must be a senior, and have a cumulative grade point average of 92 or above for all classes completed 9 through 12. Dr. Cavazos, Dr. Perez, would you join me in celebrating these athletes? From Harlingen High School, Keelan Munoz. Also from Harlingen High School, William Herring. From Harlingen High School, Rafael Soto. And then student manager from Harlingen High School, Madeline Sweeney. I'd also like to recognize the parents of these amazing student athletes and Coach Manny Gomez and members of his staff for the great job they do of mentoring these students. And then from Harlingen High School, we have Joshua Rodriguez. Harlingen South High School. We'd also like to recognize the family members of Josh and Coach Ritchie and his staff for all the great things that they do for our student athletes as well.
Get the board down for a group photo.
After these two, you're gonna move the
Yes,
which is the census, after responsible species.
Is this the what is
The other one, the census report.
And do it all the way to 9, right after this? To 9.
So we can get the kids on.
Okay. We're gonna do the census report first, then.
Yeah, but let's finish this.
Thank you, coaches. Thank you, students. Very proud of our student athletes for the example they set on and off the field and in the classrooms as well. Thank you for being here and congratulations. Very proud of you. Now I'll ask Brianna Vela Garcia to help us recognize the PTSA Students of the Month for February.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight I will be recognizing our February Harlingen City Council PTSA Students of the Month. These students proudly represent Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and Harlingen School of Health Professions. The video I'm about to show you was produced by our very own Media Arts and Communications Academy students, and we all hope you enjoy.
My name is Aaron Hernandez, and I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I've been a member of the Harlingen High School band for all 4 years. I'm passionate about my family and friends, always trying to spend time with them and be there for whatever they may need. I'm still deciding on where to go to college, but I plan to get a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I just want to thank my parents and my grandparents for pushing me, and my teachers for being the best they could.
My name is Julie Lujan, and I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I'm in varsity orchestra, and I'm also in band, and I'm a public relations officer for the National Honor Society. I'm really passionate when people are happy and a lot about music, as you can tell since I'm in both band and orchestra, and when music brings happiness to other people, it just makes me happy. Right now I'm working on auditioning for UT Austin and University of North Texas in Denton. And once I get a confirmation that I can attend either of those schools, I'll be looking more towards UNT. After college, I just plan to teach music. I really want to teach high school because it'll be fun. I really want to thank my godmother because she's been there a lot for me all these years, and a lot of the stuff I have today I wouldn't have without her.
My name is Helen Carter, and I am a senior at Harlingen High School South. I am a Southern Star. I'm also the Vice President of the National Honor Society. I'm a PTSA chair, and I am in the AP Science and Recycling Club, and I also participate in dance at Rio Grande Valley Art Studio. I'm passionate about dance because I've done it my whole life, and it has been a really great outlet for self-expression. I went to attend either UT or Texas A&M in College Station, and I applied undecided, so I'm not sure what I'm going to major in or what I'm going to do in the future, but I hope to be successful. I want to thank my parents, my teachers, friends and family for always supporting me in everything that I do.
My name is Julie Solis, and I'm a senior at Harlingen High School South. I'm in Student Council, PTSA, National Honor Society, and varsity basketball. I've been varsity basketball captain for 2 years. I am extremely passionate about basketball. I've been playing since I was in first grade at the Boys and Girls Club. And I've learned that you need to adjust to your teammates and their skills and abilities. So I feel like I've learned a lot more in the court than outside the court. I'm going to attend the University of Texas at Austin, studying physical therapy. After that, I will go to physical therapy school, hopefully at University of Texas, and be a physical therapist. I like to thank my parents and my siblings for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I'd like to thank some of the staff at South for being compassionate when they didn't have to be.
Hi, my name is Jaime. I'm currently a senior at Early College High School. I'm a part of the Mighty Hawk Band's South Color Guard, and I'm a dance leader. I'm passionate about children because I believe they're our future, and what we do to help them is going to determine how we leave. I'm going to attend UTRGV in Brownsville so I can study in biomedical sciences. I plan to become a pediatric surgeon, and I hopefully on the side want to be a dance coach. And I want to shout out Alina for being one of my closest friends since 6th grade and being the only person I can confide in.
My name is Lydia Rodriguez. I am a senior at Early College High School. I am in Early College's PTSA and Drama Club. I am also a competitive boxer for Spartans Boxing Academy. I'm passionate about boxing because it has opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I've also been able to train with a lot of individuals who I look up to. I plan to attend St. Mary's University, where I'll be pursuing a career as an orthodontist, and after college I want to open up my own practice. I want to thank my parents who have always been very supportive of what I do, and they've always been there by me. My siblings who are my motivation to be a good role model, and Ms. Pembleton who has opened up a lot of opportunities for me as well.
My name is Faith Flores. I am a senior at the Harlingen School of Health Professions. I am in the National Honor Society and I am the president. I am also in Rotary Interact Club and I am the vice president. And I'm also in Red Cross Club. The number one thing I'm passionate about is helping kids, whether it be as a healthcare provider or as an individual. I feel like making an impact in a child's life so young, it really goes with them when they're older and they'll remember it forever. So I'd love to be an individual that impacts them at a young age. I plan on going to the University of Texas of Rio Grande Valley, and I plan to study communication sciences and disorders. However, I am trying to seek the pipeline of becoming a physician assistant so that after college I go straight into the PA school of the University of Texas of Rio Grande Valley, and then after that become a licensed physician assistant and hopefully work with kids in an actual hospital or a separate practice. I'd like to thank my parents and my brothers and my grandparents. I'd also like to thank Miss Alonzo for putting up with me through high school and through the whole college process. I'd also like to thank my teachers, but especially my dental teacher, Ms. Conde.
My name is Sebastian Mesa. I am a senior at the Hargeon School of Health Professions. I am a member of the Rotary Interact Club and a member of the Red Cross Club. I want to help people in need who are in less fortunate situations as I am, because I believe that there's talented and passionate individuals who can't pay for their education. I plan to attend the University of Texas at San Antonio. I plan to major in psychology. After I get my 4-year, I'm going to go into practice and hopefully stay in there until I get a doctorate. My family and my teachers, because they are what made me who I am today.
Let's give him a round of applause. So I know there are many proud family members in the audience tonight. At this point, I'd like to ask any parents or grandparents here to stand and be recognized. This video will be available on YouTube tomorrow so that y'all can watch it again. So at this time, I'd like to invite Harlingen City Council PTSA President Elias Ortega to join us this evening to present our students with certificates. Dr. Perez and Dr. Cavazos, if y'all could please come forward for photos. From Harlingen High School, we have Aaron Hernandez. We also have Julie Lujan. I heard she might not be able to be with us today. Okay. Harlingen High School South, we have Julia Solis, who is at a basketball game, but let's give her a round of applause as well. And we have Helen Carter. From Early College High School, we have Lydia Rodriguez. We also have Anciana Delgado. From Harlingen School of Health Professions, we have Sebastian Mesa. We also have Faith Flores. I'd like to invite the entire board to come forward for a photo, please.
Thank you, students and parents, for being here. Really proud of you. Keep up the great work. This time, I'll ask Mr. Strubart to present the next agenda item, City of Harlingen to honor Harlingen CISD Board of Trustees. Mrs. Strubart.
Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, administration, trustees, and audience, the Honorable Mayor of Harlingen, Chris Boswell, is here to present the board with a special proclamation from the city.
School board to come out and stand here because we're going to This is fun. The city commission meeting is not like you all have here at this meeting, so getting to recognize all of these students. But as I was sitting there watching you recognize these students and the athletes and coaches and everybody, I was thinking about the teams, that we have and the competitions that we have, and now we get to recognize this great team. So if you Google high performing teams, just Google it. Just anytime tonight, a picture of the Harlingen Consolidated shows up. And so what they have done is to bring home the state championship of school boards. And if you think about the significance that that would be for any of our programs here at HCISD, remember that the school board has brought home the state championship and set the example. And I just want to say, before I read the proclamation, there should be a little ceremony involved here because this is an extremely prestigious recognition. But I just want to say how great it is to live in a community where our city and our school district work so closely together, so well together. We collaborate on things. They have projects we support. We have projects they support, and together we also get to be part of the team for our community. So I'm grateful for that partnership and that collaboration. So with that, this is a proclamation honoring the Harlingen Consolidated Independent School Board. It says, whereas local school board members are committed to making policy decisions in the best interest of all children, are strong advocates of public education, and are dedicated to ensuring the school structure provides a solid foundation for all, whereas the Harlingen CISD attained the highest graduation rate in the district's history in 2019 and has surpassed the state's kinder readiness rate, and whereas HCISD offers 12 academies and 46 industry certifications to its students, has been named a best community for music education, has a history of award-winning programs, and provides high-quality education grounded on strong character, whereas HCISD earned an impressive A from the Texas Education Agency for its financial accountability for the 17th consecutive year, showing sound fiscal responsibility and transparency, whereas the HCISD Board of Trustees has maintained important partnerships with the City of Harlingen and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to provide students with top-tier choices and opportunities, whereas HCISD Board of Directors collectively have more than 60 years of educational leadership experience in addition to their professional experience in various industries, and whereas there are more than 1,200 school districts in Texas, and the Texas Association of School Administrators named the Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees the 2019 Outstanding School Board for demonstrating commitment to their students and the community. Therefore, I, Chris Boswell, in the City of Harlingen, and on behalf of the Harlingen City Commission, hereby declare our appreciation to the members of the HCISD Board of Trustees and proclaims the board as the state's sole honor board of the year this 4th day of February of 2020. I urge all citizens to recognize and appreciate our great school board. Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for that. Mayor Boswell, thanks for being here. I will tell you that he's right about the team. When I gave the speech, when we got the award, first thing I mentioned was we want to rename the award the Team of 8 of the Year award, not the Honor Board of the Year, but because none of this happens without the best superintendent in the state of Texas, Dr. Cavazos. Let's give him a round of applause. Furthermore, I will tell you, just to add to what Mayor Boswell was saying, it is true. Strong communities come together to support their public schools. And we're so grateful to have a very supportive, very strong community that, in fact, goes out of its way to support our school district every day. And that starts with our city commission and the mayor. Just recently, as y'all know, that we've had some announcements with UTRGV. Pretty significant. The next campus, in fact, will be in the city of Harlingen, thanks to the donation by the city of Harlingen of land that will be the next campus for Early College High School. So, Mayor, thanks for your support. Thanks for the great collaboration, the partnership, and great things. I think we're setting a great example of a model school district and a model community for the rest of the region and the rest of the state of Texas. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And with that, I'm going to skip ahead to item 9A. And at this time, Mr. Strubart, will you help us with this item, the U.S. Census Report Update, please, with our Cameron County officials here.
Yes, Mr. President, Trustees, Dr. Cavazos, Administration, and Audience, ACISD is assisting the city's efforts to ensure members of our community are counted for the 2020 census. ACISD employees have sat in the City of Harlingen's planning meetings as committee members. Our school district also displays census promotional graphics on the football stadium scoreboard, reaching thousands of game attendees, as well as other facilities and venues. Census Committee member Dominique Consiglio has met with the Media Arts and Communications Academy graphic design and video classes to create content to localize Census 2020 marketing efforts. ACIC also plans to participate in the citywide Census concert in April by helping get families out to the event and complete their registration information. Dr. Cavazos also reminds people during his public presentations about the importance of and to participate in the 2020 census. Tonight, we are honored to have Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino speak more about the county's efforts to get the word out about the census. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Honorable County Judge.
Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, trustees, team is a word that's very, very appropriate this evening. With that in mind, I'm going to hand it over to Commissioner Reese, and I'm going to say a few words at the end. But I think we're very lucky to have been here this evening, and hopefully after we do our presentation, you'll understand, I'm sure you do, the importance, and everybody in Harlingen will assist us in our endeavors with regard to the census.
So, good evening. Mayor Boswell took my introduction. Right, so it is good to be here in front of a bunch of superstars, and you know, I do want to echo that sentiment. We do have the best school district in the entire nation, and I don't say that just because I'm from here, but it is true. And so, thank you. So, folks, my name is Gus Reese, and I think for most of y'all, I am your county commissioner. And let me introduce our county team here with y'all tonight to discuss the 2020 census. Of course, y'all know our county judge, Eddie Trevino. We have our outreach coordinator, Joshua Gonzalez. We have representing our Cameron County clerk, Sevigasa Perez. We have Mr. Lucino Rosenbaum. He's back here. And also representing her office, Angela Puente. And so the county clerk, along with our county judge, together and separate sometimes, like tonight, they've been making this presentation to the different cities and school boards in our county. So they spend a lot of time doing this. And so we're here tonight to talk about the 2020 census. And so, as you can imagine, the judge and I, as members of the Commissioners Court, we advocate in favor of a lot of issues. And tonight we're here to advocate in favor of this issue. And so let me pass it over to Josh. He's going to present, and during the presentation, the judge and I might interject with some of our comments. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Cavazos, Dr. Perez, School Board, people of Harlingen. My name is Joshua Gonzalez, representing County Commissioner Gus Reese and Precinct 4. And it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight. What I'm about to share with you is going to be paramount to the success of our young children. I'll begin by briefly going through a short timeline of dates to come, and then follow with some information as to why this is pertinent to all of us and why we need your help in working together. So the 2020 census is here. Right now, the group quarters advance count is currently taking place. And so that occurs in college dorms, retirement facilities, hospitals, and facilities of that sort. Okay? Beginning in March 12th, those households that completed the 2010 census will be able to fill out the questionnaire you will receive by mail. There is an option to fill it out online at www.2020census.gov or by calling the toll-free number enclosed in your census questionnaire. Now, you can do both of these things whether you participated in the 2010 census or not. The official designated census day is April 1st, 2020. Those that were not counted in 2010 and those that are not counted by April 1st will receive census questionnaires starting May 1st.
Well, and so real quick, what is the census questionnaire? It's a document that's going to get mailed to you if you filled it out in 2010. For the most part, it has about 5 questions on page 1. The rest of the pages consist of depending on the amount of family members you have in your household. And so typically, it could take about 10 minutes to fill this out. If you didn't get a hard copy, if you don't get a hard copy mailed to you, starting March 12th, anyway, you could do it online or by the phone.
So moving on to why this is important. According to census data and analysis, an estimated 5% of children under the age of 5 were not counted in the 2010 census. That's about 1 million young children, the highest of any age group. Okay. In terms of family count, for a family of 6, the county receives an average of $1,600 per individual, equating to $9,600 per year and $96,000 every 10 years. Again, these are funds that are allocated for the advancement of our county, much of which we miss out on when we aren't counted. Services like road maintenance and drainage are funded by this money. Certain population experts are estimating that Cameron County has grown in excess of 500,000 people. So we are never going to get this information if we don't have a complete and accurate count. And with our efforts together, we can ensure that.
So aside from these hard monies that Josh spoke about, it also means representation. As y'all know, in 2010, the state of Texas gained 4 congressional seats. And I'm not talking about seats that federal Congress made up. We took 4 seats from other states in the United States. So Texas gaining population, that means that we have more representation at the federal level and more representation in Austin.
Moving on. The benefits of a complete count, like the commissioner just mentioned, representation. These numbers determine how many representatives each state has in Congress, right? So, and inform the redrawing of congressional district boundaries. So congressional representation is key, like the commissioner just mentioned. Texas gained 4 congressional seats in the House of Representatives from the results of the 2010 census. In terms of distribution, $675 billion is allocated federally to states, counties, communities, to support resources, schools, hospitals, and fire departments, right? One specific program that uses these funds would be in your school district, the Community Eligibility Program that HCISD implements for free school lunches. This is part of a federally funded program. And so the last part, growth, these numbers issue data for growth opportunities within the community and to learn more about consumers and constituents.
So we have a map here, and I'm not sure if y'all have it. It states, it's a map of the entire Cameron County, the results of the 2010 census. And if you look at the HSD school district, right, area, a lot of it is indicated here in blue on our map, which states there is a substantial amount of non-response. And so if you can imagine, what we're trying to do tonight is advocate and educate so that we all can act and have a better turnout for 2020.
You should be receiving some packets. Mr. Stropart has the packets there, and the map is inside that packet for you to look at. So $675 billion goes to the states and communities, right? 10% of these monies target low-income students. So if you have a scenario where one student is counted out of a group of 10 in one classroom, that means that the $13,000 that was allocated for each student must be separated into those that were not counted. So for example, if we have a classroom of 10 students and only one student was counted, $13,000 turns into $1,300 for each student. So aside from school lunches, the migrant education program could benefit greatly from these funds, as well as the homeless education program, both of which contain federal contributions. So I'll go ahead and go to the next slide.
So let me just add some notes before I pass it on to the county judge. So let me thank y'all for being public servants in our community. It's not every day that people thank y'all, and people need to thank y'all quite frequently, because it is a sacrifice to your families and to the community. And so, you know, what we're doing here tonight is advocacy, and it's not mandated by the Texas government code. It's not mandated that we advocate this. It's not mandated that y'all advocate this. But as leaders in our community, it's very important, and I think it is our duty to make sure that we advocate on this particular important topic. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. This last slide, the one before it, should be of paramount interest and concern to this school board and to the entire community in Cameron County and to the entire valley. 10 students should be receiving $130,000 of federal funds for educational purposes. If only one of those kids gets counted, which unfortunately, historically, is probably what's occurred, instead of having $130,000 to spend on 10 kids, you've got $1,300 to spend on each child. Imagine what you would do with those resources. Imagine the support you could give to your teachers, to your administrators. Imagine the ability to have those federal dollars coming back that we've paid in. You go back 5, 6, 7, 8 decades, South Texas, Rio Grande Valley in particular, has been severely, severely undercounted. What has that meant? Commissioner Reese alluded to it. It's meant fewer dollars for our people. It's meant fewer dollars for our programs. It's meant fewer dollars for our education. It's meant fewer dollars for our representation. We're finally reaching that precipice, that point that all of us know that the valley is ready to explode in a generational format. But we only get this opportunity once every 10 years, and if we don't get it right, we're going to lose again during the decade of 2020. I let Commissioner Reese and Joshua do their presentation because I've been doing this for the last year, so I wanted to make sure somebody else had an opportunity. But literally, the census coming up starting in March and April is the most important project that any of us as public elected leaders and or community leaders will participate in for the next 10 years. And everything that we work on going forward is based and premised upon this census. The concern that some people have in our community is, well, wait a minute, I'm not a citizen. I don't want to be, well, all of the information provided to the census is by law confidential. No other department or branch of the government has access and will have access to this information. It's hard enough to get people to come out of the woodwork with regards to the census in years past. We were very concerned about the citizenship question. Litigation, matter of fact, Cameron County was one of the lead litigants in that. We were successful in that endeavor because the census says count the people in your community. It doesn't say count the citizens, because when somebody calls the police at 911 for an emergency or domestic abuse, an accident, the dispatcher doesn't say, is this a U.S. citizen calling? Oh, I'm sorry, we're not able to help you. Hey, my mom's dying. She just had a heart attack. I'm sorry, are you a U.S. citizen? No, that's not how it works in the real life. And thank God it doesn't, because that's not what we were raised to do. But yes, all of those things cost money and cost resources. We don't take advantage of this opportunity, we'll have no one else to blame but ourselves. So I'm pleading with all of the members of our community, our elected officials, our community leaders, to make sure that you do everything you can. Congratulations on your award. You all know how important education is. Education has always been the great equalizer. No matter where you came from, no matter what your economic status, no matter your last name, if you had an education, that was going to get you places. Well, not everybody has the opportunity to get that education, right? But if we get them to participate in this census, and this is going to be the first time that this is going to be an online census, so the great equalizer, at least for the next few months, while education is still paramount, here's your great equalizer. Regardless of your economic background, everybody's got a cell phone. So in addition to your support, we're going to be asking that you set up sites throughout the school district, allowing people to come in and if they don't have a computer, they don't have a phone, that you assist them in order to provide the information online or through phone. So with that in mind, I also want to advise that the census is continuing to look for part-time workers for the remaining months. It's a great job if you've got a college kid or somebody who maybe is post-college and still not sure what they want to do. At least they can keep busy for the next foreseeable months. But be happy to answer any questions, but we appreciate you allowing us the opportunity to meet with you and talk to you here this evening.
The actual document is in Spanish. It's available in Spanish in writing, or you can do it online or on the phone in Spanish. A lot of our constituents, students.
54 languages this year, up from 38, I believe, from 10 years ago. Okay, and we hear about the immigration issue. There are people from all over the world coming and crossing. And by the way, if your grandma or your mother-in-law is staying and living with you on April 1st, you count her or him. If you've got neighbors, if you've got relatives that are living with you, you count them on April the 1st.
So, Ladio, if your tia and tío are living with you, count them on April 1st.
Or then kick them out.
That's a separate issue.
Thank you all very much for being here. A very important message, and I know that this school district, and I know the superintendent and leaders will do everything they can to get the word out to make sure all our people are counted. I know you share the view, as we do, that talent is universal, but opportunity is not. Well, certainly this goes a long way for providing more opportunities when we can get more funding to our region, and we certainly thank you for doing your part in getting the word out across the entire county. And we will do our part as well. So thanks for being here, and I hope that, do you want to say a few words?
No, I just want to thank them for being here, and of course, it's important to engage all the school districts, because I think that we have a lot of touch points, and so thank you for the work that you all are doing in spreading the word as well.
If we get the kids involved, they'll make sure that mom and dad do it. Yeah. That's why we're reaching out to the school districts, because you are our best opportunity to reach our locals that way. That's the truth.
Absolutely. Yep. Largest employers of every community as well.
Yes. The judge doesn't know yet, but we're going to present to La Feria ISD on Monday.
Nice.
He knows now. Awesome. He knows now, Gus.
He needed to practice. Yeah.
Judge, Commissioner, thank you for being here. We appreciate all you guys do for our region, our county, and we'll help you get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to continue with some approval of, or hopefully consider some approval for some of our student trips. So we'll take up an item 9B at this time, approval of out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School cadets to attend Contest of Champions dance competition in Disney World in Orlando, Florida on February 27th to March 2nd, 2020. And I'll ask Ronco Creators and Carissa Salinas to step forward, please. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, board members, Dr. Cavazos, members of the superintendent staff. On behalf of the Harlingen Cardettes, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. The Harlingen Cardettes have been a part of a long-standing tradition at Harlingen High School and within the city for the past 63 years. During these years, we have prided ourselves in being an award-winning team and demonstrating excellence in the classroom and in everything that we do. This year, we were invited to compete at the Contest of Champions National Dance Competition in Orlando, Florida. Speaking from my own personal experience, this competition is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that our girls will surely never forget. We would like to request your permission to compete at nationals and represent our school, our community, and this district, and God willing, bring back a national title. Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School Cardettes as presented.
Second. Motion by Dr. Muniz, second by Mr. Leon. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very proud. Very
Thank
proud.
you.
And thank you for being here. Y'all have fun and bring us back some videos and awards and everything else. Thank you. At this time, we'll take up item 9C, approval of out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School Junior ROTC drill team to attend the 2020 U.S. Army JROTC Drill Nationals in Richmond, Virginia on March 19th to 22nd, 2020. Sergeant Juan Gonzalez and SFC Efrain Fuentes.
Good evening, Board President, Dr. Nolan Perez, Superintendent Dr. Cavazos, senior board members, our principal, Mrs. Vivian Bauer, and staff.
Report. Hey. Reform. Reform.
The Harlingen Cardinal JRTC Silver Guard Unarmed Drill Team, the Black Guard Armed Drill Team, and our JRTC instructors, Sergeant First Class Efrain Fuentes and myself, are appearing before you tonight to request permission to travel to Richmond, Virginia from March 18th to the 22nd to compete at the United States Army JROTC Drill Nationals 2020, and to travel to compete in the 2020 High School Drill Team Championships from April 29th to May 4th. On January 22nd, 2019, our drill teams competed at the 5th Brigade JROTC Championships with the best teams that consisted from 8 states: Arkansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and our beautiful state of Texas, which Harlingen High School being the only school representing South Texas for the past 7 years. Our goal this year was to earn a top 5 finish with both teams. This is the second time sending 2 teams to this competition and the only school in 5th Brigade to do so, making this very special to us. After the competition, our unarmed drill team was awarded first place for team exhibition, 7th place color guard, and the armed drill team capturing 2nd place exhibition, 4th place color guard. After scores were tallied up, both teams individually earned 4th place overall and earning an all-expense paid trip to the United States Army JROTC Drill Nationals, and also being nominated to represent our high school in the 2020 High School Drill Team Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida on May 1st to compete against the best drill teams in the nation from all 4 military services. The competition in Florida is not paid for by the United States Army, and my cadets have managed to fundraise while still maintaining our community service obligations and competitions. We are requesting for the board to support us for this prestigious event that we have advanced to. This commitment is evidence of the pride and devotion of our cadets have for this JROTC unit. Our high school and the city of Harlingen is evident that they have distinguished themselves as the best of the best. With your support and approval, please accept this request to attend the United States Army JROTC Drill Nationals 2020 and the 2020 High School Drill Championships. Subject to your questions.
Thank you,
Mr.
Master
President?
Sergeant. And we heard a presentation on both items, 9C and 9D. We'll take up one at a time. How does the board wish to proceed?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve an out-of-state trip for the Harlingen High School Junior ROTC drill team to attend the 2020 U.S. Army JROTC Drill Nationals in Richmond, Virginia on March 19th through the 22nd of this year. Second.
Motion by Mr. Jaime, second by Mr. Powers? Or Ms. Fleury? I don't know who it was. Any further discussion? Here and now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. How does the board wish to proceed with item 9D?
I make a motion to approve the out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School JROTC drill team to attend the 2020 National High School Drill Team Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida on April 29 through May 4, 2020.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Reininger, second by Mr. Jaime. Any further discussion? Here and now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Master Sergeant, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And
Would we ever take a picture?
we'd love to take a picture with you. You want to take a picture?
Those are pretty impressive statistics, sir.
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh, then she might have been there. Because it's not on action item. Right. Change order. From the consent. Yeah. One line.
That we already knew.
This time we'll go back to item 3, the approval of minutes. How does the board wish to proceed for item 3A for the minutes of the regular board meeting January 14th, 2020?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved, second. Mr. Powers, any further discussion? Changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we'll ask Adriana Ariano, the Rodriguez Elementary School principal, to help us with principal's report. our favorite part of the agenda, where we have the most questions.
Well, I brought my team to answer all
There
of
you
your
go.
questions today.
They're moving to the back, okay.
Forgive me, so I can set this up real quick.
Oh, my goodness, great.
That sure is a young teacher you have there.
Yeah, that's a very young. He's not laughing.
He's not laughing.
He's not laughing.
You're cute.
If you don't mind, I'm going to get my notes real quick. Make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight about our partnership with Discovery Education and our ongoing transformation as we incorporate STEM learning into our classrooms this year. So not only is this journey a part of our own transformation at Dr. Rodriguez Elementary, but also our district's ongoing transformation as stated in our strategic plan. The STEM learning pathway impacts one or more specific results under each one of our 5 goals, all focused on creating new learning opportunities or enhancing the learning experiences of all students. So I'm going to speak to those this evening. But I did want to incorporate our STEM vision and mission as we do transform. At DRE, our vision is that students will be prepared with the foundational skills they need to be successful at the secondary level, as well as the post-secondary level, and the future workforce. And we will do that by focusing on student engagement and the 4 Cs. So with STEM learning, we can offer unique learning opportunities for all students. So why do we feel that STEM learning is so important? And this is the pathway of the future to create those learning opportunities. Well, we know because the future of the economy is in STEM, and STEM occupations are the jobs of tomorrow. So STEM learning also focuses on those skills students need to be college and career ready. So what is STEM learning? And if any of you have heard Dr. Cindy Moss speak, which I think that you have, she's very passionate about STEM education. And when I heard her speak, she's very dynamic, and it opened my eyes to something more than just the acronym that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM is a lot more than that. It's about students and teachers in the classroom energizing minds, and that is something I take from Discovery Education. So it's not only about those 4 core areas, but more on as to how students are learning in the classroom and how they will continue to use those skills in the future in the workforce. So we know and also want to understand that our students, they're learning with purpose, and we want them to know that when they learn, they're not just learning how to utilize a formula in mathematics, but how to apply it later on. We know that throughout the learning process, they will be able to apply their knowledge and skills, be challenged to solve real-world problems. In essence, they're learning through exploration and discovery. So more importantly, with this process, they're also learning that it's okay to fail sometimes. And I know that we don't like to use that word. But in the words of Dr. Robert Corbin with Discovery Education, to fail is our first attempt in learning. So throughout the year, we've asked our teachers to embrace a new way of teaching, and Discovery Ed has provided training specifically on embedding STEM into our current lessons. So we're currently in the first year of our 3-year partnership with Discovery Education. And the focus of year one, as you can see, has been on building the STEM culture, just embracing what STEM is. And this includes very specific training on the following, which is creating high-quality STEM lessons with real-world challenges, making career connections, and of course, those soft skills, the 4 C's, collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. Our professional development this year has consisted of the following. So we've had 15 days of coaching for our 4 STEM innovators. We've had 5 days of training throughout the year for our STEM team, which consists of 25 teachers, and then 8 days of coaching for our administrative team. And of course, training embedded in there with our online resource STEM Connect provided by Discovery Education. So also very important that we involve the community so that they may also gain an understanding of what STEM learning is and how this type of learning is going to benefit their children. So we've had 2 community events thus far. We had a STEM launch right at the beginning of the school year. And we had 1 STEM night in the fall in December, and we're fixing to have our 2nd STEM night, which is occurring this week for the spring. And so as you can see from some of the pictures, what that included is just them working together on an activity or a small project just to see if they could solve the challenge that was put forth in front of them. So we know that students are more engaged when we can provide a comfortable learning environment and the opportunity for them to learn from each other, as well as putting technology into their hands. STEM learning in the early grades allows us to focus on the whole child. So students from kinder through 5th grade are experiencing STEM learning in the classroom with hands-on exploration activities and of course assignments that are driven by research. So this is an example of 2 of our 5th grade classrooms, Mrs. Castaño Garcia and Mrs. Salazar's class, who are conducting research in science utilizing technology and then honing in on their presentation skills. And of course, this is with forms of energy, and this is something within the content area that they need to learn to be successful on the STAR test as well. And here's another example of STEM beyond the classroom. So we've also extended that into our after-school ACE program as well. And we started that last year actually with our ACE coordinator, taking the initiative to include this as part of our program. And so we've just extended that this year. So these are just a couple of examples of our teachers doing the great work with implementing STEM lessons and facilitating the process for students. So I think now we have a highlight video to show you. Go ahead. So we're currently in year 1 of our 3-year partnership with Discovery Education. This year, Discovery Education has come in and provided us with some intense training on how to incorporate STEM lessons into our current curriculum. And so some of these activities through STEM Connect are designed to enhance the core curriculum and also make sure that students are able to incorporate the 4 C's, which are collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking.
We've been able to use it. For example, we've done a lesson on 3-dimensional shapes. So we were able to build and test. And the process is actually design, build, and test. And so they designed their shapes. We had students presenting, and then they built their shapes using toothpicks and marshmallows. They used straws and clay, and then we tested our objects. So we were able to do a drop test, and the drop test was to see which object held sturdier, which one held the strongest.
Well, I feel like that it was pretty good and fun, and it was a little bit challenging actually, because other people, they had harder and more softer objects that they had to build with, like the straws and the clay. It was really hard to build for a pyramid. So on the clay, the clay weighed more, so it actually kind of folded more faster than it broke. But the marshmallow's head was like a cushion, so it made it a soft landing.
So these lessons from Discover Education, they take a span of, 1 or 2 weeks. So we have been focusing on this certain challenge. Yesterday we explored a story where there were some children who would walk to school every single day and they would see salamanders on their way to school.
Our teacher, she read us a story about these 3 kids. And these people, some of these people make concrete for the people, but the people who built the concrete took away the salamander's habitat. So we made a bridge so the salamanders can live under the bridge and the people can walk on top of the bridge.
Well, we want them to kind of visually work together, communicate with each other as a team. They had to have a plan, and as you saw, there's some areas that had baskets. There are others that had cars, so some kids were just very persistent in trying to pick up a car that didn't have one of the metals that needed to be picked up with the magnet. So they have to work together because the object of the game was to get the most metal in their scale on their side to make it so they can get a point.
I feel like I learned about teamwork, working together. It was really good exercise for me.
The teacher really becomes the facilitator and in some of the group work. And so we were noticing that the students are engaged, they're motivated to continue to learn. So whether it's through small project or small activity, but they're working together. And so the collaboration piece is a really big part of what STEM learning is. And so definitely the idea is to incorporate much more of the technology and put that into students' hands, because we know that we are in the age of digital learners. So we really want to do that, and we do feel like that's going to enhance their learning. Just because that is the way that they currently learn. So I'd like to follow up with just this quote from the U.S. Department of Education. In a world that's becoming increasingly complex, success is driven not only by what you know, by what you can do with what you know. And that's what we were trying to teach our students here, is we're trying to teach them to apply their skills, not just take something, learn it to pass a test. We want them to do more and be comfortable doing more. And I would be remiss if I did not give a special thanks to everybody here, especially my STEM team of leaders here. If they would stand when I recognize them. Mrs. Carmen Compian.
Hey, Carmen Compian.
Mrs. Dulce Garcia.
Hey.
Mrs. Angelina Salazar.
Hey, Angelina.
Mrs. Alexandria Uresti.
Hey,
Mrs. Gracie Bolas.
Hey,
Mrs. Amy Rivera.
Hey.
Mrs. Pamela Garrett.
Hey, Pamela.
And my assistant principal, Mrs. Elisa Ariola.
Hey, Elisa Ariola.
And my instructional coach, Mrs. Lorena Jimenez.
Hey,
and I know that Carol is not here tonight, but Carol Heward is our Discovery Ed trainer and our partner, and she works with all of the staff, including us administration, and she's doing so much to just help us really ease into this process. I'd also, of course, like to thank Dr. Cavazos, Dr. Noyola, Mrs. Lori Romero, Mr. Strubart, for really just giving Dr. Rodriguez the opportunity to be part of the vision and mission of transforming teaching and learning for the students in our district. I also want to thank our board as well for their continued support in this and all endeavors. So thank you once again very much for this opportunity. So this concludes the presentation, and I'd like to welcome any comments or questions.
Great job.
Great job. Thank you. Board members, any comments, questions for Adriana or her team on this excellent presentation?
Mr. President, may
Yes,
I?
Dr.
Well,
Luis.
fantastic presentation, and I love all the keywords, teamwork, the drop test. I want to go back and do that too. It looks like we should do that with eggs, and we should do it, right? I'm thinking in my head, balloons.
There
right?
you go. You have an invitation.
Yeah, no, it looks like
class.
so much fun, the physics and all that stuff that goes into it, And you can tell that the kids are having fun. And wow, you've got a great student talking there. Greg, Mr. Powers and I were commenting on how, man, his intelligence, his vocabulary. What, is that your son or is that your kid? He's your kid, right?
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thank you for that presentation. Thank you for
College level.
thank you for bringing the excitement back to school, and I love what you guys are doing. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No,
Ms. Frey, please.
thank you. Agree, Bobby. It was wonderful. Thank you. You know what was particularly noticeable, in addition to what Bobby mentioned, and those are such important elements, was how exceedingly well-spoken your students all seemed to be.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed to be so confident and so sure of themselves, and they used vocabulary that was way beyond what one frequently sees in the elementary schools. And so I want to commend you on this. Obviously, it must be a goal that you're working on, and I think that, we all hope that as we treat children, so will they be. And so thank you for treating them with the respect that they seem to show for their work as well as for their commitment to doing the work. And I just loved hearing them speak. They were so well-spoken. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Jaime.
Just really briefly, whenever we, the school district partners with folks like Discovery Education, there's expectations, and we want to thank you guys, you for your leadership and, living up to those expectations. And obviously there's, a whole team. I think of like when the football players come in and you have the team captain come up, but then he's got his team behind him, because that's a testament to your leadership, that they're here, that they bought into what you bought into, and as a group you guys have had this success. So I just want to thank you guys, you and everybody else that's here from Rodriguez, because without you all, our students wouldn't have these opportunities. So thank you.
Dr. Pettis,
Dr.
I'd like to add, so when I first heard about Discovery Education, I almost jumped out of my chair. I was so excited. I think everything we're doing is super exciting, but I really, really, really love STEM stuff. So this was.
We have a belt here. So
I was like, oh my gosh, this is great news. So I have been waiting to hear how it's going, and so I'm so thankful to see the video and just how you've brought it to life. Thank you, because your passion makes the children jump out of their chairs too. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear this.
You're very welcome. Well, funny story, when we went to our symposium last year in Richardson, we got back and we were scheduled to have a debrief with Dr. Cavazos, and I had plans already to be out of town. So I told Dr. Niola, I'm not going to miss this meeting. You better call me. I want to conference in because I want to know what's happening. I wanted to be the first one to volunteer our campus for this, because I was very excited too and very driven by what I saw in Richardson. So I thank you all for that, because I think that you giving us the opportunity to look outside of what we're doing in other schools, other districts, helps us grow. So it's certainly helping me grow, and I know that in turn it's helping our teachers and our students. So thank you.
Mr. President, I have
Mr. Dillon, please.
Mine's a fantastic presentation. You have great rock stars, everybody there. I do have a question. It's pretty, the curriculum is intensive, the projects are intensive, the initiatives are intensive. So how do you continue to help the teachers out with professional development? Is there a continuous assistance with them so that they can refer back to some help?
Well, what I like about this is it's gradual. It's a 3-year plan or partnership, like I said, with Discovery Education. And so they've been very accommodating for our teachers. And those that are ready to take the initiative and move forward because they're very comfortable with what they're learning in the trainings, they can take it to a high level, as high as they want. But then we also have teachers that are at the basic level. And so that's where my instructional coach comes in, to help them and assist them and work with them as a team or as a grade level during PLCs to guide them on how to embed STEM into their lessons so that they become comfortable with the process. We may not be completely, at the point yet where we're doing that project-based learning element yet, but we're already getting there. Just with being able to fit it in and tie it into our core subject areas, whether it's reading, math, science, or social studies.
So there's immediate resources available for them if they need it on the campus.
Yes, and a big part of the training is the online resource with Discovery Education, which is our STEM Connect, that they can use as well. And our 4 STEM innovators that are here with us tonight, which are Ms. Compian, Mrs. Garcia, Mrs. Salazar, and Mrs. Uresti, work very closely with Carol Heward. And so they're using that online resource really in depth in their lessons.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rubina. echo my excellent comments from my colleagues. I will tell you, it's evident that the culture of schools is amazing, and that everybody's bought in. This is sort of another movement that's, a moment that's becoming a movement for the STEM learning in this district, and very important because what you've done is not only highlight STEM fields, which is incredible, it can provide incredible opportunities for these students, but you've done so while focusing on literacy, focusing on the soft skills that are going to really open the doors for opportunity for these kids. Literacy is the foundational to all disciplines, especially STEM fields, the STEM disciplines.
Definitely.
And
I
so
really
it's
give
evident
that to
by
my teachers.
Yeah, it's evident by the well-spoken students that you have that they're holistic learners and they're really bought in, and they're committed to learning, and they're committed to working together in teams and collaborate. And so really excited to see what comes from this, but really thanks for starting this movement for the district and for highlighting your amazing students today for us. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Mr. President.
Picture? You want to
Yes.
get a picture? Let's do it.
We gotta do it fast because that teacher over there.
Can I also recognize that Jaime is still, and Mr. and Mrs. Davalos are still here, and he is representing our entire student body, so I'd like to get them in the picture as well.
I wanted
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next item, well, we have no public comments for agenda topics. We do have a member of the community signed up for a public audience for non-agenda topics. So I will call up Kristen Resendez. Is she still here?
Yes, she is.
She's just, okay. No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I do have to, if you just, please, no, you're good. You can step forward. I do have to read this, just our sort of our policy for the public audience for non-agenda topics. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up and provide the information requested below to be heard. In accordance with the district policy BED local, a total of 30 minutes will be allowed for public audience at each general board meeting. Only those persons on the list who sign up prior to the start of the meeting shall be allowed to speak to the board during the public audience portion of the meeting. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. Delegations of parties, of more than 5 persons speaking on the same topic shall appoint one person to present their views before the board. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Those complaints include complaints on the following subjects: employee and officer complaints, termination of employment, student complaints, removal to alternative education program, and expulsion. Public audience is not intended to advertise, promote, sell tickets, or collect funds for any non-school related purpose without prior approval of the superintendent or designee. See GKB local. Additionally, vendors or prospective vendors who are currently or prospectively engaging in the bidding or requesting for proposal process with the district are prohibited from speaking at public audience to the extent the presentation concerns a current or future bid and is a violation of the bid instructions. If the board president determines that a person has not attempted to resolve a matter administratively, the person shall be directed to the appropriate policy for attempted resolution before bringing the matter to the board. Complaints against the specific students, employees, or offices of HCISD shall be heard in closed meeting as authorized by Texas Government Code Title V. If your topic concerns complaints against specific employees, students, or officers, please note this on the sign-up sheet. You must make your points on issues in a constructive and courteous fashion pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order. Kristen, sorry about that. Go ahead. Take it away. Thank you.
I did print out something that had pictures that would help with my quick topic. May I pass that out?
I think that would be appropriate.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good, because I paid $10 to get that.
Dr. Noella, you'll keep time, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't check my grammar because I've
Thank
been
you.
a stay-at-home mom for the last 4 years.
Okay.
So I will be quick. My name is Kristen Resendez, for those of you who don't know me. I am also a product of HCISD, and I graduated over 10 years ago, and I was the very first president of the Student Advisory Board. So I'm happy to be back in this room today. I have a little boy who has a rare disease called spinal muscular atrophy, which makes him a wheelchair user. And we have had a wonderful experience at Rodriguez Elementary, and I just wanted to present some more ideas of how we can make the school more inclusion-friendly and more accessible. 2 suggestions that I had. The first, I recently traveled to Colorado, and I noticed some different signage underneath the handicapped parking spots. And it was a sign, the one on the right. The initiative is called Think of Me, Keep It Free. So I know I've had discussions with Mrs. Ariano, our campus principal, and we obviously cannot police the parking spots, but every day I go and there are people with not the proper documentation parking there, and often I am not afraid to ask if they have it, and every single time they're like, oh, I didn't know I was parking here, and now I don't have that. And so I feel like if you can put a face to the spot, people will have more empathy. Again, I came from the school district. I know how much character is valued among our students, and I feel like I could have talked off of everybody who presented today, and the children learn and they teach their parents, and the parents teach their children. And it's really important for me to have my son feel included at school and loved by all the students, because as these kids grow up, they don't want to nurse with them. Their friends become the providers when they go to college. And so I want him to feel like he can go through the front door on his own, which is the second thing I wanted to talk about was accessible doors. I also thought about the safety issue, and I talked to other families, and their school districts have been able to have the accessible buttons, and it will lock during school hours, because obviously then anybody can walk in. Yeah. So there is a way to have the button so that Jack can walk into school independently. The other issue along with that was, for example, yesterday we had like almost 35-mile-per-hour winds. The school faces the south, and the winds down here often come from the south. The doors on their own are very heavy, and it's become very dangerous. There's a small picture of my nurse and the son the nurse and my son walking out of the school yesterday, and he almost got his hand squished, and it's just a safety risk. The other thing is kids are always excited to open the door for them, but they don't know everything. So they open the door and then they see a butterfly and they walk away, and then the door slams closed, and sometimes it hits my son's hand, and he has a muscle debility debilitating disease, which also affects his bones.
Mrs. Resendez, the time is up.
Okay, sorry.
Would you like to finish your thought?
Yes. So yes, I just left some information. I'm happy to help with anything, fundraising for signs, if that sounds like a great idea, or if anybody wants to hear any more special needs ideas from me, I'm happy to share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen, thank you so much for being here, for your advocacy, and God bless you and your son. Appreciate you doing this. Thank you for being here. At this time, we'll move to item 7, approval of consent calendar, unless any member of the board would like to pull an item out for separate consideration.
Motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Second the motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. At this time, we'll move into item 8A, transforming teaching and learning committee report. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. Earlier this evening, we held our Transforming Teaching and Learning committee meeting. At this meeting, we had 2 topics that were presented for discussion. The first topic addressed an anonymous reporting phone app that is available to all our students. As part of our safety committee, one of the things that we wanted to ensure that was available for all of our students was a means for them to be able to communicate their concerns, whether they wanted to do that in person or whether they wanted to have the opportunity to do so anonymously. And so this evening, Sandra Tovar presented the Stop It app. This particular app allows our students to be able to report any incident that they feel they needed to. A lot of great aspects about this particular app. One of them is instant notification, and so when a student brings forward an incident, it is communicated immediately to their administration as well as some district administration so that we can attend to their concern as soon as possible. The other piece that was really important to us as we identified this app for our school district was that it allows for 2-way communication. Even though we have a student reporting anonymously, it still gives administration an opportunity to ask follow-up questions in order to better address their concern. A third aspect of this app that was significant for us was the fact that all of these incidents that are reported are being monitored 24/7 by the organization. And so if and when this organization identifies a concern that needs immediate attention, then it's escalated to the point where they do actual outreach to members of our district administration so that we can address those students as much as possible. We have been monitoring these incident reports because the great piece about this program is it allows us to have all of these incidents in one location, be able to identify trends that we may be seeing so that we can better provide services to our students. So we're really excited. We've seen a tremendous impact from this app. We really feel that even in the process, we feel like we have saved some lives through this process. And so we're excited to continue this program for our students. We had some tremendous recommendations from the members of our board on how better we can enhance and communicate the availability of this app to our students. So we're going to continue to do so. The second presentation focused on safety as well, but safety in particular with our elementary campuses. So during this presentation, we shared some action ideas that were brought forward from our safety design team. As you will recall, last year this team was brought together to identify action ideas that would guide our work over the next 5 years. One of the resounding pieces that came from this group was the need to focus on elementary. We do a lot of focus on secondary because obviously we hear a lot of attention at the national level of incidents at the secondary level. But the committee really felt that we needed to work in a preventative mode instead of a reactionary mode. And so really focusing on elementary to address our students. So this evening we identified 4 areas that we would be looking at. One of them dealt with bus safety. We have a tremendous number of our elementary students that ride our buses. And as part of our research, we heard from our parents that one of their bigger concerns was just knowing where their students were at all times while they're riding our buses. And so one of the action ideas that we will be bringing forward as part of our 5-year plan is a GPS tracking system. And so this GPS tracking system will allow not only district personnel, but our parents as well, to always be able to know where their child's bus is. And so that they, one of the biggest questions that they're always asking, especially if the bus is not there when they're expecting it, is where is that bus, where's my child? And so with this program, our parents will be able to monitor real time where their child is on their way home or on their way to school. The second item that we spent some time discussing was mental health. And so we know that the mental health issues that sometimes we see as secondary really did not begin there. They have origins much earlier. And so we want to make sure that we are equipping our students with all the skills that they need in order to be able to face whatever life happens to bring to them along the way. And so one of the programs that we are looking at is how do we embed character education into the everyday classroom. Currently, our programming has our counselors going out into classes, but we want to make that more real time, and so we are looking at some character education programs that really embed that into our classrooms throughout the day, throughout in every lesson and everything that we do. But in addition to that, if we're really looking to address our students, it's not just about addressing the individual student, but also the family. And so as part of our initiatives, we are looking to bring on some additional family counseling that would be available to our students and our families. The second part of the presentation, Danny Castillo, our Director of Safety, shared a couple of pieces that are coming forward. One of them was the need to standardize how we respond to emergencies. And so one of the things that he shared with the committee was the importance of having a multi-hazard approach to any incidents as opposed to trying to address individual scenarios. And so over the next semester, we will be changing how we address hazard events or any types of scenarios that may cross our district. And so he shared a little bit about what that process was going to look like. And then the last action idea that we shared with the board was the need for a security presence, a safety presence at our elementary campuses. That is very prevalent at our secondaries. We have security guards, we have SROs, but nothing of the sort at the elementary. And so the design committee is proposing that we add security officers at our elementary campuses beginning next year. And so our committee along with the rest of our district administration, is looking at how we can bring that about for next year. So those were the two topics that were presented at our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee meeting. Dr. Reiniger chairs our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee, and so I'll turn it over to her for any additional comments.
Thank you, Dr. Nayola. It really was an exciting committee because the content that was presented is so relevant and so actionable. I also think it really speaks to when we bring in our community into the work and we put together the education experts in our communities community members who live this and have their worries and concerns, great ideas come forward. So the Stop It, you could tell it was a carefully selected approach. The anonymity with which issues can be brought forth is so important. The 24/7, 365-day monitoring is unique and gives us an ability to be there for our students and families about concerns. So I was also very impressed with the procedures that are in place to verify and ensure each one of those issues is addressed and closed or put in place. So that was very good. The safety is elementary presentation. I continue to be impressed with the focus on prevention, which is exactly where we should be as a district, exactly where we should be as a country, thinking about how do we prevent these issues. The transparency that the various strategies that you have in place are terrific. I, of course, was really impressed with the standard procedure piece. that truly transforms the way we address issues, makes it much more simple, makes it much more actionable. That's the whole purpose of this. So I commend the committee and you and the community members coming together to bring this forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reiniger. Thank you, Dr. Mayola. This time we'll move into item 10A, Internal Audit Quarterly Report. And I'll ask Ms. Nelly Ledesma to lead us in this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perez, board members, Dr. Cavazos, and the administration. The audit committee and I met earlier this afternoon and heard the following 3 audit reports: a special activity fund audit for Bonham Elementary, a special activity audit for Vela Middle School, and an audit of contract agreements for consulting services. These reports were discussed in detail with the audit committee members, and I am here to answer any questions you may have unless Ms. Fleury would like to elaborate what we discussed.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ledesma. We continue to appreciate very much the detailed information you share with us, and we also continue to be grateful for the fact that we have you and your staff working throughout the year to help us be even better in every way. So we appreciate it. You're doing a great job, and it was a very helpful, detailed information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nelly.
Thank you, Nelly. Thank you so much. Item 10B, approval of order of election and notice of trustee election. Mr. Cavazos.
Thank you, Dr. Perez, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 10B is approval of the order of election and notice of trustee election. The election is set for May the 2nd, 2020. We have places 1 and 2 up for elections. That's Sherry Fleury and Javier de Leon. Early voting will be conducted at this location April the 20th through April the 28th. Again, we're required to approve, the board's required to approve the order of election. We recommend approval. Any questions?
How does the board wish to proceed?
I move approval of the order of elections and notice of trustee election.
I'll second.
Motion by Dr. Reiniger, second by Mr. Jaime. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item 10C, consider approving interlocal agreement for joint election between the City of Primera and Harlingen CISD. Mr. Cavazos.
Thank you, Dr. Perez, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 10C is approval of the interlocal agreement to conduct a joint election with the City of Primera. We are required to conduct an election with a municipality within our school boundaries. Since the City of Harlingen is not having an election this year, we are recommending to do a joint election with the City of Primera. We'll split the costs of the elections at Primera, and they only have 1 polling place at City Hall. So we would split those costs with them. Again, we're required to have this joint election with the municipality. We're recommending approval.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the interlocal agreement for a joint election between the City of Primera and Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District as presented.
Motion by Dr. Muniz.
Second.
Second by Mr. Leon. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. At this time, the next item, 10D, consideration and approval of appointment of early voting clerk. Mr. Cavazos.
Thank you, Dr. Perez, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 10D is consideration and appointment of early voting clerk. We're recommending Marta Barrientos. She is my secretary as the early voting clerk. She has done this for several years and is very knowledgeable in elections, and we recommend approval.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the appointment of early voting clerk as presented.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Muniz, second by Mr. Jaime. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. At this time, we'll move to item 11A, approval of recommended revisions to policy update 114 and local policies BDB and EIC on first reading. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team and audience. Earlier this evening, we held our policy audit committee meeting. As part of that committee meeting, we reviewed recommended revisions brought forth by TASB regarding policy update 114. These policy revisions were as a result of the 86th legislative session. TASB was in a position now where they were able to bring forward their recommendations to local policy. There were 19 policies that were reviewed. We thoroughly discussed them at this meeting. One of the policies in these recommended revisions was policy BED local. BED addresses the incorporation of the new requirements with regard to public comment. Obviously, earlier this evening, we saw those revisions as they were implemented. If you will recall, earlier this year, we spent quite a bit of time reviewing policy BED. We worked with our legal counsel to bring this policy into implementation. So that was brought forward in the fall semester. As we reviewed the recommendations that TASB is bringing forward and the work that we did first semester, they were very consistent. And so as such, we will be recommending no action or an exception to the recommendation of BED local from TASB. In addition to those 19 policies, we also discussed policy BDB and policy EIC. BDB is the policy regarding our committee meetings that we have. We currently have a facilities committee. If you will recall, one of the requirements off of the legislative session was that we have a safety committee. And so we joined our facilities and safety into one group. And so this recommendation is basically just changing the name from a facilities committee to facilities/safety. That's BDB policy. And then EIC policy is our GPA policy. And so we added one additional course to that listing for grade points consideration. At this time, we are recommending approval of the recommended revisions to policy update 114 on first reading, with the exception of policy BED, as well as local policies BDB and EIC on first reading. Mrs. Fleurier chairs our policy audit committee, and so I'll turn it over to her for any additional comments.
Thank you, Dr. Noyola. That was a very thorough presentation, and I'm sure everyone was very attentive, and so they really actually understand now what we've been doing several times today in studying this, and I thank Dr. Reiniger for her contributions as well. As you are aware, you have been supplied with all of this information in great detail, as well as the two summary sheets at the beginning, which do entitle the policies that we're dealing with. So if there being no questions from the board, are there any questions from the board in regard to any of the material with which you've been presented, what you've heard? If not, I would like to move, please, to approve the recommended revisions to policy update 114 on first reading as set forth by TASB, with the exception of policy BED and local policies BDB and EIC on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Fleury, second by Dr. Reiniger, to approve the recommended revisions to policy update 114 on first reading as set forth by TASB, with the exception of policy BED and local policies BDB and EIC on first reading. Any further discussion at this time? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. At this time, we'll move to item 12A, approval of final construction payment to Ziwa Corporation, Inc. for the Gutierrez Middle School Gym and the Harlingen High School South Mini Gym wood floor upgrades project. Mr. Tapia.
Board President Bettis, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos and colleagues. This item is to approve the final payment to Ziwa Construction for the Gutierrez Middle School Gym and Harlingen South Mini Gym wood floor project upgrades. The amount is for $25,987.79. Project architect has reviewed all punch lists. We've received all closeouts, and we recommend release of final payment. And we did discuss this at the Facilities Committee meeting earlier this afternoon. Recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the final construction payment to Ziwa Corporation, Inc. for the Gutierrez Middle School Gym and Hargeon High School South Mini Gym wood floor upgrades project.
Second. Go ahead.
Motion by Mr. Jaime, second by Ms. Fleury. Any further discussion? Hearing none, in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Item 12B, approval of change order number 1 to increase the original contract sum for the HVAC Phase 2 upgrades at Harlingen High School South. Mr. Tapia.
Board President Bettis, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. This is a change order to the contract for CAS Inc. for an additional 25-ton rooftop unit installation at Harlingen High School South. We have a air conditioning project there that we're trying to finalize. And the cost is for $72,870. We do have a contingency fund of $25,000 that we plan to use. So that'll leave an additional balance of $47,870 that we need to increase the contract in order to pay for the whole project. So from the $690,500 contract we have right now, this would increase it to $783,370. So The change order amount would be not to exceed $47,870 to the current contract we have right now. Again, we discussed this at our Facilities Committee meeting, so we recommend approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion for approval of the change order. I'm going to increase the original contract sum for the HVAC Phase 2 upgrades at Hargeon High School South that's presented.
Motion by Mr. De Leon,
Second.
second by Dr. Reiniger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. At this time, we'll receive the Facilities Committee report. Mr. Tapia.
Yes, Dr. Board President Perez, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos and colleagues, we did hold a Facilities Committee meeting earlier today. On February 4th, we discussed the TRE projects. We started off with Treasure Hills Elementary and gave an update on the classroom addition project. Overall, we're about 95, 96%. I gave an update on all the improvements that have been done up till now. I discussed some of the pending items like the drainage, the canopy along the drive, the pavement, and some punch list items inside the building. We then moved on to security fencing repair work for hurricane fence for High School South and Cano. Right now they're working at Cano Academy and they're about 50% complete there. Then they'll move on to South after that. The Lamar roofing is complete over the kitchen area, and the district operation entry canopy is finally getting some work, and the metal deck and the roofing rigid board insulation has been installed. So they should complete that by the end of February. On the World Language Academy, Phase 2, we gave an update on all the improvements. The poles with the flags are up, the entry signage, all the landscaping, lighting, and should be complete here in the next few weeks. The Vernon Language Academy Phase 3 is being designed by our architect. We'll bid that out. That work is planning to be done during the summer because it involves a lot of interior work. We do not want to disrupt the instruction there. And on the tennis courts, the high school, Gutierrez Middle School is complete. Harlingen High School South is complete. Harlingen High School is complete. So the last one left is Vela Middle School that they're working on now. So overall, we're about 85% complete on that project. The golf skill station is about 50% complete. I presented pictures of all the site grading, the improvements, the metal posts are up, and all the drainage improvements, and the turf material has arrived at the site as well. We've gotten started on the new wall panels Phase 3, just got the contracts back from the attorney. We need to sign them, and then we'll issue a notice to proceed. And then we gave an update on the Early College High School UTRGV new campus project that we're finalizing the design phase with the architect, working with UTRGV to get feedback on the design and the building specifications. And we'll continue having those meetings and working with the architect to move on to the construction drawings phase. And we also gave an update on the Transition Academy that we're working with Megamorphosis Architects, finalize the building elevations, and they're also working on the construction drawings. We're hoping to award that at the April board meeting. And finally, we presented a change order for South that we just approved here a little while ago for the air conditioning improvements, and approved final payment for Zero Construction on the gym floor project that we also just approved as well. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Greg Powers, who's our chair, to give any additional comments.
Thank you, Oscar. The only thing I would like to comment on is, in addition to what you've pretty much covered everything that's going on, is Treasure Hills. We did do a tour this past week, and for those of you that missed it, you need to go by and get Oscar or Kenny to show you everything, because it's state of the art. It's really, really a neat facility. Modern education at its best. The facility, as he said, is almost complete, 96%, and we also saw some plans, or where Phase 2 is going to go, and when it's finished, it's going to really, really be nice. The security fencing is almost finished, and it looks terrific. I'm really glad you made the changes on the mesh and the other parts that brought it up to what we wanted. And probably the highlight of the month is Vernon. If y'all haven't been by, you need to drive by Vernon, because it'll make you really proud. The flags were up yesterday. It's I guess 90% complete. The only thing that's really missing is the globe, and it's behind schedule just a little bit. But it is really, really fantastic, Oscar. Y'all have done an incredible job, and it'll be the showcase for our district. So thank you very much for great work.
Thank you, Mr. Powers.
Excellent.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. Any questions, or Mr. Tapia, or Mr. Powers? All right, at this time, will adjourn to close or executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code and the Open Meetings Act for the following purposes. Discuss level 4 policy FNG grievance hearing, consultation with counsel regarding legal issues pertaining to student grievance and appeal, consultation with legal counsel concerning pending litigation, including matter styled EEOC complaint, charge number 451-2019-02877, and discuss employment of teachers and other professional staff. We are now in executive session. I'd like to reconvene into open session for action. I'd like to reconvene into open session for action on matters discussed in the executive session. And we're doing this as a courtesy to our guests who are here. We still have some other items in executive session after this item, but wanted to take action on this item with due consideration to our special guest here tonight. So at this time, we'll please begin the recording. I think there's, do we have recording on? Okay. So we'll take item 14A, deliberation and possible action concerning level 4 policy FNG grievance. How does the board wish to proceed?
Mr. President, I move that the board uphold the level 3 grievance decision concerning Mr. and Mrs. Garza, and that the board further finds that administration had previously granted the requested remedies.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Jaime, second by Mr. Powers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
At this time, the board will reconvene into executive session for items 14B and 14C as previously presented. We are now back in executive session. Item 14B, consider and take possible action regarding possible settlement of EEOC complaint, charge number 451-2019-02877. How does the board wish to proceed?
Mr. President, I move that the district accept the settlement agreement as discussed in executive session regarding EEOC complaint, charge number 451-2019-02877, involving former employee Kathleen Worth, and authorize the superintendent to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
Motion was Powers, second by Dr. Reininger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. 14C, consider employment of teachers and other professional staff.
I move employment of teachers and other professional staff as recommended by administration.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Reininger, second by Ms. Fleury. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. This meeting is now adjourned.
Everybody.